My name is Jeff Pelletier, and I have the distinct honor of serving as the athletic director here at Mountain Valley. Joining me today on stage and helping with the presentation is Mr. Craig Millage, the school's assistant principal. It is with great pleasure that we welcome you all to what is truly a historic and long-awaited celebration, the inaugural Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Today, we are not just recognizing the excellence of the inductees, but we are also taking the first steps towards preserving the legacy of athletics in our community. We get to honor the very best of our athletic history from across generations, schools, and sports. Today's inductees represent a proud history of athletes, coaches, teams, and contributors from Rumford, Mexico, and Mountain Valley High Schools. From 1970 to the present, these individuals and teams have embodied the values that we strive for within Mountain Valley athletics programs. Whether it was under the lights on a Friday night, on the court or wrestling mat in a packed gymnasium, or on the ski slopes, each inductee has played a vital role in shaping the fabric of our athletic community. Today, we will proudly induct 15 exceptional athletes who inspired teammates and left lasting legacies within our community with their performances. 3 influential coaches whose impact on our student athletes stretched far beyond the sidelines. 2 unforgettable teams who helped build pride within our community and garnered attention well beyond our town lines. And 1 devoted contributor whose volunteer work and commitment to our area athletes helped nurture the athletic successes that our community has come to enjoy. To me, this Hall of Fame is not only about celebrating the accomplishments of our past, but also a way to use these legacies to help inspire current and future generations of Mountain Valley athletes. The existence of this Hall of Fame will stand as a reminder of what is possible with hard work and dedication, regardless of what perceived limitations come with growing up in a small, rural community like ours. The legends that we celebrate today grew up on the same streets as our current students. They were labeled Milltown boys and girls, and were likely not given the attention from the media that is so easily garnered from athletes from other regions of our state. They had to earn it, and they did. And because they did, the student athletes that have come after them know that it is possible. On behalf of Mountain Valley High School, I thank you all for being here to celebrate this remarkable group. I hope that we are all able to enjoy and appreciate the rich history of athletics represented today. So without further ado, let's begin the 2025 Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Each of today's honorees was selected by a well-informed and diverse committee made up of community members and alumni with a deep knowledge of our area's athletic history. The work of this committee ensured that this inaugural class not only reflects athletic excellence and success, but also the values that make our school and our town so special. Not all of our committee members are here today, but I would like to have those that are stand and be recognized for all of their work during this incredibly important inaugural year of the Hall of Fame. This year's committee members were Jill Bartash, Joe Bedard, John Bernard, who's volunteering his time to take photos today for us, Tom Damlick, Gary Dolliff, Jeff Garno, Matt Cobras, Rich Kent, Craig Millage, Ryan Palmer, myself, and Jeff Sterling, who also makes all the incredible banners that you see in our gymnasium and has made some awesome banners for the Hall of Fame itself. Well, let's have a round of applause if we could have all those committee members stand. I would also like to take a quick moment to recognize the sponsors who have helped make today's celebration and tomorrow's golf scramble a possibility. These sponsors seem to never miss an opportunity to support Mountain Valley athletes, and we are always grateful for their contributions. Franklin Savings Bank, Oxford Federal Credit Union, Edge Nutrition, Oakdale Country Club, Black Mountain of Maine, Best Western Plus, Rumford Falls, Brick and Stone Tavern, G&B Sporting Goods, ND Paper, and River Valley Graphics. As we begin our inductions, Craig and I will alternate between reading a quick write-up for each inductee. The inductees will then come to the stage to receive their plaque and share a few words if they are comfortable doing so. There are 2 sets of stairs to my right as you come up. If you'd like a handrail, the furthest one against the wall has a handrail. It'll be nice and safe. And then after the inductees speak, we're going to have them exit through the back of the stage and meet Mr. John Bernard of River Valley Graphics, who will take a photo with our Mountain Valley backdrop before they return to their seats. These photos and all the photos that he takes throughout this event will be free to access once Mr. Bernard has finished them, and I will post a link and directions to that on our social media in the near future. So now for our first inductee. We will begin today's award ceremony just as we began announcing this inaugural class, by honoring a man whose name is truly synonymous with Mountain Valley Athletics, Coach Jim Elwood. Although he is being inducted today as a coach, I think there are generations of Falcons who would tell you that he is a Hall of Fame educator as well, and also an impressive athlete in his own right. Jim has coached multiple sports, but he will always be best known for his legendary leadership of the Mountain Valley High School football team. After coaching 2 years at Mexico High School, Jim was chosen to lead the newly formed Mountain Valley football program. The task was a challenging one, given the merger of two rival schools, but Elwood embraced, having a roster of nearly 50 after struggling with low numbers at Mexico. In their final season as separate teams, Rumford and Mexico had a combined record of 1-16. Enter Elwood. In the 1989 season, he led the team to a 7-1 regular season record and to the Western Maine Final, their first of 4 straight appearances. In 2004, under Elwood, Mountain Valley football would win its first ever state championship. All told, over his 25 years, Coach Elwood led the Falcons to an incredible 17 Western Maine championship games and 5 state championship appearances, capturing 4 titles. His teams recorded a staggering 75-7 record from 2004 to 2010, with a 34-game regular season win streak and an overall winning percentage of 91.5%. Elwood's storied career is among the best in Maine history. 213 career wins, 31 playoff victories, 8 Western Maine championships, 4 state championships, and a legacy of excellence and mentorship that has shaped countless Mountain Valley student athletes. This Hall of Fame was created to celebrate our community's rich athletic heritage and the profound impact that sports have on our lives. No individual embodies that impact more than Jim Elwood. It is my honor to welcome him to the stage as a Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer.
I will be brief. Can you hear me? Yeah. Probably better if you don't. In thinking about it, it's really brief. The people who coached with me, I'm so appreciative, hardworking men, and we all had a purpose, and that was to take care of a group of young men and some women who played for us over the course of the first 25 years. I mean, my name's on this plaque, but it really should say quarter-century Mountain Valley High School football. I didn't go around hugging the kids all the time. We worked really hard, and it was because they were so driven, so talented. It was a privilege to coach them. I loved every one of them. I loved every minute of it. Even when I was throwing temper tantrums, coaching at Mountain Valley High School was like Christmas Day for me. Sometimes you got rewarded, sometimes you got a lump of coal. But it was the process, not the results. And professionally, it's the best 25 years I ever spent in my life. Thanks. Oh, back, right?
Coach Elwood is the Dean of Students here at Mountain Valley High School. As of now, a big teddy bear. You guys wouldn't even recognize him. You guys have played for him back in the day, I promise you. But our next inductee is a name that needs no attention. It is the Andy Bedard. Although Bedard thrived, yeah, go ahead, absolutely. Although Bedard thrived beyond just basketball during his high school career, there is no question that his most impressive achievements came on the hardwood. In just 3 years at Mountain Valley, he built one of the most decorated careers in Maine high school history. As a sophomore, he helped lead the Falcons to the regional final and was named third-team All-State by the Bangor Daily News. Then, as a junior, he exploded, averaging 33 points per game, earning first-team All-State honors, and rewriting the state record books. He would continue those eye-popping numbers throughout Mountain Valley's playoff run as well. He set a Class B state record for most two-pointers in a state game with 17, and also set state records, regardless of class, for most three-pointers in a state game, 8, most points in a state game, 53, and for points in a regional tournament, 113. He led a loaded Mountain Valley squad to the state championship that year, defeating Camden Rockport in the state final game. At the conclusion of the season, Bedard would be named the Gatorade Player of the Year for his efforts. 30 years later, many still talk about his staggering 25-foot three-pointers, his exceptional court vision, the jaw-dropping dunks, and his rejections, sometimes reaching several rows into the bleachers. Ask Gorham, Maine about Andy Bedard. And just for good measure, he was also a Class B state champion in the triple jump. And talking to Andy recently, he told me that, track and field one year, he just kind of showed up to stay in shape, and Coach asked him, he found a pair of shoes, went to a few track meets, and won a state championship. Andy's talent took him to Boston College, where he helped lead the Eagles to the Big East tournament and reached the NCAA tournament. He later starred at the University of Maine, where he earned first-team All-America East honors twice. He ranked among the top 15 in the nation in assists and led the Black Bears to a school record 24 wins. Andy Bedard is one of the greatest high school basketball players Maine has ever seen, and now he's a Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, Andy was unable to make it today, but his brother Joe is here and is going to share some words on his behalf.
This is, can you hear me? I gotta tell you, I was still nervous when Coach Elwood speaking. Andy, put together a few words here. Sorry. I'd like to thank my brother Joe for teaching me everything I know about sports. No, it's, I talked to Andy briefly, and we talked about, I'm gonna talk a lot in my speech because I'm definitely known to be long-winded. But Andy's very grateful for this award. He's grateful mostly for the community that supported him through this. It was pretty awesome. I mean, I remember myself just like calling my grandfather. My parents were at the game, and he put the phone down next to the TVs just so I could listen to the game back before internet and all that stuff. It was a ride. And then I drove from Virginia all the way up to watch a state championship game, which was well worth the ride. But Andy's very, very grateful, very thankful. Had great coaches, great community. So thank you. And I don't need to get too pictures.
Our next inductee is a 1973 Rumford grad whose name still turns heads 50 years later, Marty Milligan. As a senior, Marty pulled off a feat no other Maine athlete has matched, winning the Fitzpatrick Trophy as the state's top senior football player and the Vinyl Trophy as the MVP of the Western Maine Class A basketball tournament. More than half a century has passed, and still no one has ever done it. No one else has ever done it. On the hardwood, Marty led the Panthers to a 29-7 record over his junior and senior seasons, capped by a Western Maine championship and his MVP performance. On the gridiron, at 6'4", 195 pounds, he was an all-state linebacker and a Fitzy winner. proving that you don't need to be from a powerhouse program to make the whole state take notice. Coach Jerry Perkins described him as big, tall, slim, but a muscular kid who was tougher than nails, good in school, and very coachable. He was described at the time as the most heavily recruited Maine athlete in 25 years, with schools from Yale to Wake Forest knocking on his door and even sending private jets to pick him up to bring him to campus. Marty ultimately chose Dartmouth, where he became a 3-year letter winner for the Big Green. His senior season was set to be his best yet before an injury cut it short, but his legacy was already cemented. Marty could not make it as he is across country, but his sister Barbara is here to accept the plaque on his behalf. Congratulations, Marty Milligan, an all-time great and well-deserved Hall of Famer.
Okay, as you know, I am Marty's little sister. I didn't get any awards. But Marty had a few words he wanted to say. He said, "Thank you to the selection committee for the honor of being inducted into the first Mountain Valley High School Sports Hall of Fame. Rumford and the entire Mountain Valley community has a strong tradition of outstanding athletes, and I am proud to be a member of the class of exceptional athletes and coaches. I would also like to thank my teammates and coaches who made this honor possible. In fact, 2 of my coaches are being honored here today. Athletics has always been an important part of my life, and it afforded me the opportunity for an excellent education and opened many doors for me throughout my career. And finally, I would like to thank the many fans and supporters in the Rumford area who were always strong in support of all the high school teams."
It's pretty hot up here, so if I come out with a sweat towel or something, don't hold it against me. It's rough. But anyway, next we welcome a team into the Hall of Fame that was nothing short of legendary, the 1976 Rumford Panthers boys basketball team. And how fitting is this? Just last week, they were inducted into the Maine Basketball Hall of Fame as well. Today, though, we get to honor them where it all started. Rumford basketball in the 70s was a dynasty in the truest sense, and the 1976 team was especially loaded. Led by Coach John Shaw, who would go on to earn Maine State Coach of the Year honors, the team featured a starting 5 that was brimming with talent, but also played with a poetic level of chemistry and togetherness, a true abundance of riches. Roberts, Shorey, the Cobras brothers, Zyko, Gorham, and Reed, with their typical 7-man rotation, and everyone knew their role, and everyone delivered. Together, they elevated Rumford basketball to a level the state and New England had never seen before. Under the leadership of Shaw, the 76 Panthers didn't just win games, they owned the court. They kicked off what would become a 48-game winning streak, tore through an 18-0 regular season, and lit up scoreboards with their up-tempo style, sometimes even eclipsing the 100-point mark, while their opponents rarely produced more than half of that. Their playoff run was a masterclass in dominance, a 29-point rout of Deering, a 22-point drubbing of Portland, and a Western Maine final victory over Cheverus. The state championship was a thriller, an 81-80 win over Lawrence, a gutsy down-to-the-wire win for a team that was rarely tested. They followed that up by dismantling Lake Region 99-73 in the Battle of Maine Champions and punched their ticket to the New England tournament. They were hardly done. They took down Trinity of New Hampshire by 1, and then in the battle for New England supremacy, they defeated Mount Anthony of Vermont 68-58 to claim their crown, setting a new standard for Maine basketball by becoming New England champions, and likely the reason Maine wasn't invited back the next year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute honor to welcome into the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame the undefeated, the unstoppable, and the unforgettable 1976 Rumford High School boys basketball team.
You can mention that any members of the team that are here can come in.
And any other members of that squad, please come up with Coach Cobras if you're here.
All right, boys, come on up. As Craig said, we were just up in Bangor last week, so some of us are a little tuckered out from all the induction ceremony at the Maine State Basketball Hall of Fame. But I'll just say a few words, and I'll let the boys chime in if they wish. But first of all, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for our team being selected in the initial class of 2025. That's quite an honor. The 76 team really had it all. We had great players. We had the best coach in the state. We had the best fans and community support. Someone in Maine recently wrote a book titled Last One Out of Town, Turn Off the Lights. It was about basketball in the state of Maine, how crazy we are about it. And that was true of Rumford. Back in the day, we would take our annual pilgrimage to Augusta to play our tournament games in February, and the whole town, seemed like the whole town went over, and whoever was left, they had to turn off the lights. So that was very appropriate. The 76 team, it wasn't just us. We were very fortunate to have had some great players from both Stevens High and Rumford come before us. Players like Marshall Todd, Tommy Farrell, Bobby McConnell, the Dupel brothers, Danny Terrio. And then we also had, from a more recent era, John Mooney, Dave Brennick, Stan Cobras, Jimmy Tim Mooney, Ray McKenna, and the aforementioned Marty Milligan. And many of these former players, they played against us at the old Stevens outdoor basketball courts, where they really helped toughen us up as players on the 76 team. And at Stevens, we played all summer long on the outdoor courts from 5:30 till dark, and the winner stayed on. So some nights we'd have about 30 players show up at 5:30, you make your teams, winner stays on. So it became a bloodbath many nights because you didn't want to sit and have to wait 2 hours to play again. So we learned a lot of lessons, a lot of life lessons on the outdoor courts, and we really have to thank our predecessors for that. So I could go on and on about stories about the 76 team, but I'll save it for those of us that are going up to Black Mountain afterwards. So again, thank you to the selection committee on behalf of the 76 team, and Doug, Andy, or Chris, I'll open it up to you guys. Go ahead. Chris? Andy?
Thanks to the committee. Hello? Yeah? Okay. Thank you to the committee for selecting us. Thanks to my family for showing up, my grandsons, my daughter, my wife, my son, my daughter-in-law. Thank you very much.
Just very quickly, it was amazing growing up in Rumford in the 70s. You know, the basketball team wasn't the only team. You had the wrestling teams, you had the ski teams. We had athletes everywhere, and you didn't feel special because it was an expectation. And it was really a great time, and I'll share that. Basketball, gyms packed every night, home and away. It was just a fun place to be, and thank you for the award.
Some pictures.
I am honored to introduce our next inductee, the youngest of the class, Lauren Sterling. This one is extra special to me, as I had the pleasure of coaching Lauren in high school. Luckily, she was able to overcome that hurdle on her way to a Hall of Fame career. Lauren was a three-sport varsity athlete, excelling in soccer as an all-conference goalie who had over 200 saves her senior year, and a talented gymnast and cheerleader. But it was on the track where she truly soared. The 100-meter hurdles became her event. At the end of her sophomore season, when she won her first MVC title and her first state championship in the event, Lauren not only made a name for herself as an outstanding hurdler, she became unstoppable. From that 2016 state championship on, she never lost another 100-meter hurdle race. By graduation, she was a three-time MVC champion, three-time state champion, MVC Athlete of the Year, and MVC record holder in the 100-meter hurdles, a record that she still owns today. She wasn't a one-trick pony, though. Lauren found the MVC podium 12 times across 5 events over the course of her career. She also earned the rare honor of being both a William Fraser Award winner and MBHS Ideal Student winner. Lauren took that drive to Emmanuel College, where she earned multiple athletic and academic honors and helped lead her team to a GNAC indoor championship, winning the 60-meter hurdles and earning all conference honors at that event. Please join me in welcoming Lauren Sterling into the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame.
Being up here is a much different stage than being on a track and blocks, but my heart is feels like it did when I was in that 2018 MVC championship. It's beating out of my chest. I feel like I just have to echo what Coach Alward said during his speech. This is not just an award for me, it's an award for everyone I'm staring at who came before me, who paved the way for athletics and made it matter to this school. This is a thank you to my teammates who were always at the end of the finish line, cheering me on, and my parents who were always in the crowd, and my 2 brothers who won state championships before me that set a very high bar in our household. Especially thanks to Coach Corrado, and I think above all to JT Taylor, who was my protege and my coach throughout the 4 years that I had. He made special workouts for me. He designed a block for me specifically for my talent. So this award has my name on it, but JT, this is as much as yours as it is mine. So thank you.
Our next inductee is a true legend of Nordic skiing, Elizabeth Liz Carey Butera. Liz's skiing career began early, mentored by the great Shummy Brumhall, and from the start, she was unstoppable. At Rumford High School, Liz won 3 individual state championships and led the Panthers to back-to-back Class A team titles, and in those championship seasons, she never lost a race. She also represented the Eastern Division on the U.S. Junior National Ski Team and competed internationally at the World Junior Championships. Liz's success soared at Middlebury College and the University of Vermont, where she won 2 Division I individual national championships, was part of 3 national championship relay teams, and earned All-American honors all 4 years. She raced on the U.S. ski team for 4 years and qualified for the pre-Olympics at Lake Placid. Even after retiring, Liz gave back to the ski community by helping launch the Alaska Nordic Junior Ski Group, sharing her passion and knowledge with the next generation. Although she cannot be here today, Liz Carey Butera's resume speaks for itself, and we are proud to now call her a Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer.
Next, we welcome a true force of nature into the Hall of Fame, Mountain Valley class of 1991's Kyle Dinsmore. Kyle's story is a definition of hard work becoming dominance. A 4-year varsity wrestler and standout lineman, he helped lead our football team to a Western Maine championship appearance in back-to-back seasons. Then he took that same grit to the wrestling mat and rewrote the record books. After a solid start in his first 2 seasons, Kyle exploded onto the scene his junior year. He got down from his football weight of over 200 pounds to compete in the 189-pound weight class. And once there, he was simply unstoppable. He rattled off 80 straight wins, captured back-to-back Class B state championships, and finished his senior season a perfect 40-0 with 34 pins, and remarkably, only 41 takedowns. When Kyle put you on the mat, you stayed there. He ended his career with 125 wins, breaking a school record that had stood for over a decade, and 95 career pins, another record. He dominated wrestlers from all over New England, and had Maine competed at the New England Championships at that time, you can bet he'd have been the favorite for the title. Kyle went on to wrestle at the University of Southern Maine, helping bring collegiate wrestling back to the state, and today continues to give back to the sport as a high school coach in Colorado. Please join me in celebrating one of the most dominant competitors in Maine wrestling history, Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer, Kyle Dinsmore.
All right. Just like to thank everybody for nominating me for this. Pretty honored to be remembered after, I guess, 35 years from wrestling. Learned a lot of lessons here. Enjoyed my time. Was privileged to be one of the first classes through to see what it became. You know, enjoyed my time on the football field, on the wrestling mat. Learned a lot of life lessons that I teach to my students now. So I'm still teaching, I'm an athletic director, and I still coach wrestling. So I just love sports, and it teaches everybody so much, and we just try to pass that on to the next generation. All right, thank you.
We're getting there. Our next inaugural inductee is a name that has echoed in the River Valley for decades, Matt Gadet. From the moment he set foot on the court or on the field, Matt was a leader. As a 3-year starting quarterback, he took Mountain Valley's very first football team to heights that no one expected, a Western Maine finals appearance as a junior and a state championship appearance as a senior. Along the way, he collected awards like they were first downs, including the Bruce Campbell Award as the Western Maine's top player. He capped his high school career off by leading the West to a 40-0 win in the Maine Shriners Lobster Bowl, and he was the game's MVP. But that's just half the story. On the hardwood, Matt made history in his very first varsity game, draining the first three-pointer in Maine boys high school basketball history. He captained the Falcons to an incredible 42-1 run over his last 2 seasons, won the 1990 state championship with a perfect 22-0 record, and scored his 1,000th point in front of his biggest fan, his grandfather, Stanley Masalski. He earned the Pierre Renoir Trophy as the most outstanding player in Western Maine in the Western Maine Class B tournament, competed in the McDonald's Senior All-Star Game, and was crowned Mr. Maine Basketball in 1991. Unsurprisingly, Matt also excelled in track and field, setting a school record in the javelin that still stands. On that note, please see the track and field records in the gymnasium. He went on to star at Colby College, becoming the starting point guard for 4 years, scoring 1,481 points, leading his team to 85 wins, and earning a plethora of honors. He made the All-NESCAC rookie team in 1992, was a 2-time honorable mention All-American. In 1995, he was named to the first team for All-New England, All-NESCAC, and All-Maine, and was the Maine College Player of the Year. His 22 jersey now hangs retired at Colby, and his name is etched in the New England and Maine Basketball Halls of Fame. Colby even dedicated their men's basketball locker room in honor of Matt in recognition of the points he scored on the court and courage and perseverance he exemplified off the court. Humble in victory, gracious in defeat, and an inspiration on and off the field, today we proudly welcome Matt Gaudette into the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame, and although he was unable to make it, he did send us a video with some words that he would like to share.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to say how truly honored I am to be inducted into the Mountain Valley High School Athletic Hall of Fame. The Rumford and Mexico area always had a rich tradition of athletic excellence, and to be mentioned as one of the best is very humbling. I was blessed to have supportive parents and two older siblings. My parents, Steve and Barbara, my brother Steve, and my sister Suzanne. We were a competitive family, and being the youngest, I was usually on the losing end. I didn't like that feeling. I hated to lose, and I used that hatred as motivation to improve. In 1991, my class was the second graduating class from Mountain Valley High School. When the merger was announced in the late 80s, there was real uncertainty in both communities as to how kids from Rumford and Mexico would get along. However, the student athletes were less concerned thanks to the Greater Rumford Community Center, the GRCC. As kids, we spent our weekends at the Stute competing against each other in sports. And when we weren't playing sports, we were shooting pool, playing video games, just goofing around. We would take a break from competing to watch WWF wrestling matches while drinking soda and eating garbage from the vending machines. We were really building friendships and pushing each other to be better, even though we were from different schools. As we grew older, Rumford and Mexico High School athletics had been in a steady decline, and we were sick and tired of losing. With the merger, we knew we were going to be a tough school to deal with on any field of play. And in the 2 short years we were together in high school, we restored the athletic pride to the community. So today, this honor isn't just mine. It belongs to everyone who lined up alongside of me, everyone who coached, supported, and encouraged me, and everyone who reminded me that playing team sports is more than just a game. Thank you for this incredible honor. Thank you to those who voted to induct me, and I'm sad that I can't be there with you to celebrate.
We have Matt's brother Steve here today to accept this award on his behalf.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome, everybody. It's hard to tell if this thing's on. Not much I can say more than that, but personally, I'm very privileged. I feel very privileged to be here to represent Matt, especially knowing that I wouldn't be up here to receive this reward for myself. So with not much more to say, I do want to thank everybody who's put this together. It's a terrific thing. I know how much hard work it takes. And I'd like to, and my brother is very upset that he couldn't make it down here. You know, everything has to be, perfect for him to travel this far. I know he's very sad about that. But just to enforce that, he is super grateful that everyone's inducted him to this Hall of Fame. And I personally thank you all for having me represent him. And I will say it in his words, thank you so much for everything.
Our next inductee is a true legend of the ski world, Bob Zink. And though I will not talk much about his other careers, he was also a stud on the football and baseball fields as well. A versatile multi-event skier, Bob led Rumford High School to back-to-back Class A state championships in 1972 and 1973, and a New England title in 73. His dominance on the jump hill took him far beyond our hometown, winning the team jump at the 1974 Junior Nationals in Colorado, taking the gold at the Canadian Junior Nationals that same year, and earning silver at the 1975 Junior Nationals in Michigan. At Dartmouth College, Bob helped lead the Big Green ski team to an NCAA national championship in 1976. Fittingly, getting to compete in that championship right here at Black Mountain. His success earned him a spot on the U.S. national ski team, proudly representing Rumford across North America and Europe. But Bob's impact didn't stop when the competition ended. He continued to be a devoted supporter of the Chisholm Ski Club and Black Mountain, ensuring the next generation of skiers had the same opportunities he did. Already a member of the Maine Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame and Dartmouth's Wearers of the Green, today we add one more honor. Please welcome Bob Zink to the stage as he joins the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame.
It's probably better if you can't hear me, but thank you to the committee for putting me up here with some pretty great athletes, very great athletes. I was always blessed to be part of a great community, and wonderful teachers, great coaches, and number one, blessed probably to be on great teams. There's not much more to say except congratulations to everybody up here, and thank you to the committee again for doing this.
Next, we welcome an inductee who is one of the most electrifying athletes this school has ever seen, a 2009 graduate, Justin Stairs. Justin Stairs was not just a three-sport athlete. He was a human highlight reel. Whether it was under the Friday night lights at Hosmer Field or under the bright sun on the baseball diamond, Justin always put on a show. On the baseball field, he could play anywhere, do anything, and do it at a level all to his own. Offensively, he batted .667, .600, and .500 in his sophomore, junior, and senior seasons, respectively. He blasted 17 home runs over his career and had 42 runs batted in his sophomore season alone, both standing as school records still today. Perhaps more impressive than all of that is that although he was constantly moving on the base pass, he was never thrown out stealing throughout his entire time as a Falcon. All told, Justin finished his career being voted the MVC Player of the Year 3 times. According to Coach Steve LaPointe, after 40 years of coaching, Justin was simply the greatest offensive player that I had ever coached. His baseball career alone was Hall of Fame worthy, but on the football field, he also put up video game-like numbers. Stairs was the engine that powered the Falcons to 3 straight state championship appearances and 2 gold balls. His career numbers were jaw-dropping: over 4,300 rushing yards, 99 touchdowns, and a single-season rushing total of 1,786 yards, all of which are also still school records today. And when the biggest games came around, he delivered even bigger. In the 2008 state final, Justin rolled up 319 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 52-7 statement win over Morse. A performance so dominant, ESPN took notice. Coach Jim Elwood described his work on the football field best, saying he could run, he could throw, He could catch, he could block, he could tackle, and he could return kicks. He was the real deal. Please join me in welcoming Justin Stairs into his well-deserved spot in the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame.
I'm not much for words, but I'd like to thank the committee for getting everybody involved into doing this. I'd like to thank my family and especially Coach Howard for allowing me the freedom to play the game of football the way that I knew I could. So, thank you, everybody.
Our next athlete joining the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame is one of the most dominant and versatile athletes ever to wear Falcon Blue, Joe Bedard. A 1992 graduate, Joe was electric in every sport he touched. On the football field, he was a captain, all-conference, all-state, lobster bowl selection, and played in 4 straight Western Maine championships. On the basketball court, he earned all MVC honors and became the first player in school history to throw down a dunk in a game. I believe he's also the self-proclaimed school record holder for most missed dunks as well. But it was in track and field where Joe was really the most remarkable, winning 6 individual state championships in the long jump, triple jump, and hurdles, including 4 in his senior year alone. For those of you that don't know, they tap you out at 4 events, so he couldn't win anymore. He probably would have. His name still dominates the MVHS record books. You go into the gym as we exit today and you check out our newly installed track record board, you'll see Joe still holds the school records for the 100-meter dash, 110-meter hurdles, 300-meter hurdles, and triple jump. His triple jump record of 45 feet, 9 inches also still stands as a Class B state championship record. In 1992, he was named Maine Track and Field Athlete of the Year and Gatorade Player of the Year. He didn't stop there. At Lynchburg College, Joe's success only grew. 16 ODAC titles, 45 all-conference finishes, 8 NCAA appearances, 4-time All-American, and a 2-time NCAA national champion in the decathlon. Twice he ranked among the top 8 scoring decathletes in the nation across Division I, II, and III. The decathlon crowns the greatest all-around athlete. And tonight, we crown one of Mountain Valley's greatest of all time. Please welcome Hall of Famer Joe Bedard.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for being here and supporting these great athletes. I'd like to thank Assistant Principal Craig Millage for his continued leadership. I'd also like to give a huge special thanks to Jeff Pelletier for organizing this weekend's events. Jeff, I can only imagine how many hours you poured into gathering each inductee's stats, stories, and achievements. You nailed it, my friend. You really did. Growing up here in the River Valley was a blessing. This place is just built different. It's a community of tough love, grit, and unmatched support. We didn't just hope for success, we expected it. And we knew the only way to get there was to put the work in. There's a unique pride that comes with living in this community. I have a long, long list of thank yous I'd like to give because I don't get to this stage without them. And Rumford's where it all started. First, my family, my mom and dad, both here. I also have some awesome uncles and cousins, and my in-laws drove down from Saco. My brother-in-law's here. Thank you guys. But mom and dad, you always pushed me to be better. We didn't always have the most, didn't have much, but we had our unit, and we, meaning my brother and I, Andy, never went without. That support, especially for track and field, really meant a lot to me. It gave me a foundation of sense and purpose, and eventually shaped the aspects of my own kids. You never missed a basketball game, you never missed a football game, and you spent countless hours at full-day track and field events, when if you actually count the amount of time that I competed, it was probably 5 minutes. So, yeah, thanks, Mom and Dad. Yeah, my son, Will, he's a sophomore now at Nova Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale. Took him a little while to get motivated to run track, but now he constantly reminds me that he broke my high school record in track in the long jump. My daughter, Kylie, she bought in early. After a promising youth career, COVID tried to steal her high school momentum, but she didn't give up. She kept grinding, competing all the way to being voted captain of the women's track and field team at our United States Naval Academy. Just this past May, she hit a PR in her last meet ever, 54.78 in the 400 meters. So Kylie and Will, you've given this father more joy and fulfillment than I ever dreamed possible. Lastly, I want to thank my brother Andy. While at times Andy did steal my thunder, he changed my name to Andy's brother. But honestly, there's nobody on this planet other than my kids and wife that I'm more proud of. I was always his biggest fan, still am, bar none. Talk about built different, my brother, holy cow. Andy is a pure competitor. He's probably the purest competitor I've ever met my entire life. You mix that in with his athletic ability, and well, you get Andy Bedard, a name known all over the state. I want to thank my wife, Amy. Amy moved to Virginia to support me in my last 2 years of college. She worked full-time at an accounting firm while I pursued my dream, and helped me financially, emotionally, was my biggest fan. Amy herself is a state champion in track and field. She's a fierce competitor, rock solid mother, and loyal to the core. She's my queen, and believe me, she knows it. To my mentors and coaches, I'd like to start and follow up with Cadet, of course, Matt Cadet. Only 1 year ahead of me, but it seemed like he was like a professional athlete. I always looked up to Matty. I'm going to start with the community center. That place was just was like home. The student shaped thousands of kids from surrounding towns. I could talk hours about that, but to my friends, my teammates. It was the foundation of athletics and personal development for so many kids around here. So I want to thank Hubba, Pete Rideout, Bob Anderson, Dave Dearborn, from my early coaches, Ed Pomelo, Bo Bedard, my dad, Mike Roy, Steve Gadet, who's here. You guys are all strategic pieces in my early stage development. My youth football coach, Greg Gallant, who just passed recently. Thank you for some guidance and impact. Rest in peace, brother. To my high school coaches, in football, so I was a Rumford kid first year, so I had Coach Marshallton. I was a Panther 1 year. And Coach Elwood, still nothing has shooken me more than Coach Elwood getting fired up for anything, even today. He's Coach LaPointe, Coach White, Coach Carter. Basketball, I had Coach Carter again, Coach Covers, 18-0 JV, baby. And freshman coach Harry New. Track and field, I had Coach Jeff Turnbull, who was just a tremendous coach and supporter. He helped me get to the Bates Track and Field Camp where I learned high jump from Dick Fosbury himself, which was awesome. Some sports coaches, Coach Lace, Jerry Perkins, Strive for 5, guy was always supportive and had my back, still does to this day. And Coach Rich Kent couldn't be here today. I haven't seen him anyway, unless you're here, Coach. Speaking of Coach Kent, he Coach Ken, I must have really impressed him because he puts me in his book, Room 109, on page 79, I believe. Yet I think I'm the first NIL athlete, actually, if you go back to when that book was written, but I didn't get any royalties. Thanks to, I saw Bob McPhee and Bruce McFerrin here, two guys that continuously support this community in the papers. Just awesome guys. I want to thank my college coaches, Coach Toms, Cash, Pete Dalmont, Tim Bennett. Congratulations to all the other inductees. What an impressive inaugural class. I'm honored to be here with you. This is something very special to me that we're doing this. It's amazing that it hasn't been done already because of the number of athletes and tremendous athletes that have come out of this community. Finally, I'd like to thank the Rumford, Mexico community. You helped shape me. Your pride, support, and your families made me a better athlete and a better man. I'm forever grateful. Yeah, so thank you for this incredible honor. Thank you. I'm long-winded enough, but I just had a lot to get out. Thanks, guys.
I get to follow Joe Bedard, so that's awesome. That's great. Next, we honor a true legend of Rumford basketball, Coach John Shaw. From 1971 to 1980, Coach Shaw didn't just coach basketball, he built a powerhouse that dominated Maine and turned heads all over New England. In his very first season, he went 14-4. By year 2, he helped Rumford become the top team in Class A West. And then came the juggernaut years, the 74 team, 18-0 state champions. And they weren't done. Titles in 76 and 77 followed, each with undefeated regular seasons. The 1976 crew, as you heard earlier, took it one step further, winning the New England championship and cementing Rumford's place in Maine basketball history. In 9 seasons, Coach Shaw went 127-37, a staggering 75% winning percentage. He won 4 Western Maine titles, 3 state championships, 1 New England crown, and not a single losing season during his tenure. Even after Rumford, he kept winning, adding 4 Eastern Maine titles and 3 more state championships as an assistant at Camden Rockport. Along the way, he was named Maine State Coach of the Year, was inducted into the Maine Basketball, New England Basketball, and Mid-Coast Sports Halls of Fame. Coach Shaw could not be here today, but his legacy is well represented here by a lot of his former athletes, including his old point guard, Matt Cobras, who will be accepting Coach's plaque. Let's hear it for Coach Shaw, Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer.
Nice job, Joe Bedard, on his short speech. And I think I was a recipient, Coach, of some of those missed dunks, and he and I had some conversations about all the missed dunks. You gotta make them, but he did have the first dunk in school history, so way to go, Joe. So it's an honor for me to be asked by Coach Shaw to accept his award, and Coach sends his apologies for not being able to attend today. He's struggling with some health issues at age 83. That's understandable. And Coach sends his congratulations to all the other recipients, and he thanks Jeff Pelletier and Craig Millage for all their great work in putting this all together. So Coach Shaw had a brilliant mind for the game of basketball. He was also like a calculus teacher in math at the school, so he had a brilliant mind for the game. He implemented multiple defenses. I'll rattle off a few. My wife said not too many of these, but we did full court man, full court run and jump, 2-2-1, full court zone press, half court 1-3-1, trap, quarter court 2-3 zone. And that's just to name a few. He had multiple defenses for us to fall back on, and he drilled us in practice. His practices were
exceptionally planned out. We would all look at his schedule that he had on his clipboard to see when the 2-minute drill was in the middle of practice. We're down and back 10 times within 2 minutes, so we kept an eye on that. Our offense was up-tempo and geared towards the inside game. Back in the 70s, there was no three-point line, so we, in 1976, I believe we averaged still about 85 points a game with no three-point line. But beyond the X's and O's of the game, Coach really loved the game and he loved his players. Back in the 70s, summer basketball was really still in its infancy, and Coach gave willingly of his time during the summer, even though his wife Sandy and his young family were still in Rumford. Coach would pile us all into his station wagon and take us all over New England to play games. Down in Cape Cod, we had teams from Nova Scotia, Canada, come down and play us during the summertime. So we played so many games, and that wasn't really the norm back then. So his love of the game and the amount of time that he gave to us was very impressive. And in my estimation, best high school coach in basketball in the state of Maine ever. So well done, Coach Shaw. Coach also maintained his close relationships with his players over the many years, and we were just together last weekend up in Bangor, as we referenced earlier. Despite some of his physical ailments, his mind is still really sharp, and he's maintained his sense of humor and his zest for life. So it was great seeing him. So on behalf of Coach Shaw, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for being selected into the inaugural class of 2025. Thank you very much.
Just so everyone knows, Coach Shaw couldn't make it, of course, but he's going to be able to watch today's ceremony. A huge thank you to Mr. Chris Brennick out back there doing the video work for today's event. He runs an operation for this school that is among the best in the state. I mean, he's incredible at what he does, and he's given up his time today to video all of this to make it available to those who couldn't be here today. So thank you, Mr. Brennick.
I also know that Coach Shaw said to me many times how apologetic he was for not being able to make it here today. But it's a pretty incredible issue to have where he's just been through too many Hall of Fames in the last couple of weeks. Yeah, so it says a lot about him as a coach and the things that he's accomplished. So congratulations, Coach Shaw. Next, we get to celebrate the induction of the Rumford Panthers wrestling team of 1973. Led by legendary coach Jerry Perkins, the 1973 Rumford wrestling team was tough, disciplined, and relentless. They trained hard and refused to be outworked. They began the season as defending Class A state champs. They had a target on their backs. Adding another obstacle in their pursuit of a repeat was that in 1973, Maine moved to just a single class in wrestling. None of that stopped the 73 team. They dominated that season in a way that no other team ever has. Out of 12 weight classes, they crowned an unbelievable 6 individual state champions. Dave Magoon, Rick Lebrecht, Steve DePhillip, Gary Daigle, Jim Richard, and Linwood Arsenal. Those 6 champions represented a national record at the time. No other Maine school that season had more than one individual champion. They put wrestlers on the podium in 9 of the 12 weight classes that season. They scored 168 points, more than 66 points ahead of second place. And when a combined 27 and 8 at the state championships, scoring 8 pins and having 0 pins against. 4 different Panthers went undefeated that season. Lebrecht, Daigle, Richard, and Arsenal. They racked up 241 wins on the season, 111 pins, and claimed a top 4 team finish at the New England Championships. And just to prove their depth, their JV squad won their own state title that season as well. This team was a powerhouse, and still to this day is the standard to which all Maine wrestling teams are measured. Today, we are honored to be able to welcome the 1973 Rumford High School wrestling team into the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame. I'm not sure any members of that team are here today, and instead of making Coach Perkins come up multiple times, we'll wait for him to give his speech in a little bit. Thank you.
Next, we honor one of the fiercest competitors to ever wear a Mountain Valley uniform, Travis Fagola, class of 2006. Travis wasn't just a two-sport standout, he was a game changer, most notably on the gridiron. On the football field, he was a 4-year letter winner who led Mountain Valley to 2 Western Maine title games and a 2004 state championship. A 3-time first-team all-conference selection, 2-time all-state player, and the 2005 Campbell Conference Player of the Year, finally, a Fitzpatrick Trophy semifinalist. And his numbers were unreal. As a junior, he had 111 tackles, including 22 tackles alone in the Western Maine Championship game. As a senior, 98 tackles, 2 pick sixes, not to mention 560 rushing yards and 11 touchdowns, dominating both sides of the ball. Coach Jim Elwood put it best. When I saw Travis Fagola on a Friday night, my butterflies went away. That's the kind of leader he was. Team first, position flexible, and relentless in his pursuit of victory. His success didn't stop at Mountain Valley either. At Maine Maritime Academy, Travis became a 4-year starter, 2-year captain, and helped deliver the school's first ever NCAA Division III playoff berth. He finished as the 3rd leading tackler in the history of Maine Maritime. Let's not forget, Travis could ball on the hardwood too. As a power forward, he was a 2-time all-conference player and helped lead the Falcons to a Western Maine championship in 2006. Growing up, right down the road from Trav, him and his brother Zach, we spent many days together playing sports, and around middle school, we figured out that not only was he better than us, it was probably a bad idea to ever speak negatively to Trav Fagola. He get a lot bigger and stronger than us real quick. Absolute stud in multiple sports. Travis Fagola's career is a testament to leadership, heart, and relentless Falcon spirit. It is my absolute honor to welcome him into the Mountain Valley Athletic Hall of Fame's inaugural class.
I wasn't prepared to say anything today, but first and foremost, I want to thank Jeff and Craig for this wonderful afternoon, and I'm sure it'll be a great evening. Thank you for all the work you guys put in to make this happen. Thank you to the committee for giving me a great honor to stand in front of you and accept this award. Much like many of the others spoke about today, it's a lot of the success that we experience in our lives are due to those who we keep around us. A lot of my success is due to my family, my biggest supporters, Mom, Dad, Zach. The times of you locking me out of the house, just competing in the backyard, just the two of us. It really made me strive to be, a better athlete. And, I don't regret all the long days you beating up on me when I was younger. But just thank you to all of you, to the community. Really, like everybody said, this award isn't just for myself. It's for all of you, everyone that's, may not be here today, but who has supported us along the way. So thank you all very much.
Trev and I were in the same graduating class. His picture hangs in the hallway as an ideal student as well. And those of us that were in that class knew that there was nobody else that was winning that award. He is a Hall of Fame person as much as he is an athlete. He's just a great guy, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Our next inductee is proof that you don't have to grow up in the River Valley to become part of our sports legacy. When Erica Keedy, at the time Erica Harris, arrived in Rumford from Southern California as a sophomore, she brought a different style of soccer. Defense-minded, pass-first, and full of skill. It didn't take long for her to adapt to Maine's get-to-the-goal approach, and it didn't take long for everyone to realize that the Falcons had a star. In her first season in Cobalt Blue and Silver, Erica set a school record with 13 goals, earned all NBC, all state, and all New England honors, and led Mountain Valley to its first ever Western Maine final. And that was just the beginning. Over the next 2 years, she powered the Falcons to a staggering 23 1-1 regular season record, back-to-back NBC titles, and more statewide recognition than the program had ever seen. By the time she graduated, Erica was a 3-time All-NBC, All-State, and All-New England selection. I think she's one of only 6 Maine athletes to ever be a 3-time All-New England selection in soccer. She was an All-American, Maine Soccer Player of the Year, and Gatorade Player of the Year, all while setting the career goals record at 35, a mark that still stands today. And she wasn't just a soccer star. She was an All-NBC and honorable mention All-State softball player as well. The late, great Coach Greg Wade summed it up best in a 1999 Sun Journal interview. A leader off the field as well as on, a smart kid, and a nice person who gets everyone on their team involved. That's Erica. Erica could not be here today as she lives out of state, but she did send her thanks to everybody involved, and her impact here is going to last forever. Please join me in honoring Erica Harris, now Keedy, as a 2025 Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer.
Up next is a 2012 graduate of Mountain Valley High School, Ayla Allen. Now Ayla Berg, she is one of the most well-rounded athletes ever to don the Mountain Valley Blue and Silver. A 4-year letter winner in field hockey, basketball, and lacrosse, Ayla dominated every season, every sport. She was first team All-MVC in field hockey and basketball for 3 straight years. All-State in field hockey, MVC Player of the Year in basketball, and Sun Journal All-Region Player of the Year in lacrosse. She scored over 1,000 points in basketball and set the school record in lacrosse with 276 career goals, hitting the 100-goal milestone that most players strive for halfway through her sophomore year. She is also one of only 2 athletes in school history to win the William Frazier Award multiple times. Her talent carried over to college, where she played both basketball and lacrosse at the University of Maine in Farmington. On the lacrosse field, she scored 113 goals in just 3 seasons, becoming UMF's all-time leader in points, goals, points per game, and assists per game, and was named the North Atlantic Conference Rookie of the Year as a freshman. On the collegiate hardwood, she became a starter and totaled over 400 points and 200 rebounds in just 2 seasons. Ayla Berg was a force in every uniform she wore and a record shatterer. Today we get to induct her into the MVHS Hall of Fame.
Again, I wasn't prepared either to say anything today. But first off, what an incredible honor to be here and included in this group of just amazing athletes. I don't even feel deserving to be up here. Thank you to the committee for voting me in.
thank you to my family who's here today, my mom and my dad, for always being at every game they could, but never pressuring me to the point where, I hated playing sports. To my sisters who were not only former MVHS athletes themselves, and not only paving the way for me, but always giving me someone I wanted to be better than. Thank you to my husband, who's here today, Bill. And although he didn't know me as an athlete, he never misses a chance to brag about my athletic achievements. I feel so incredibly lucky to have grown up in this community. It's really something special. Towards the end of my college career and after, there was a point where I almost resented being an athlete and in sports in general because, I got out of college and I was like, well, who am I? If I'm not an athlete, who am I? It's all I did. It's all I knew. But then I got a little bit older and realized that it was so much more about than the sports, and more about the level of integrity and character and discipline and responsibility I learned from being here in this community and playing these sports and being a part of these teams. I got the opportunity this past spring to coach the Erskine Academy girls lacrosse team, and I was so excited, not just because I love lacrosse and wanted to lead them to a championship game or anything like that, but because I was excited to teach a group of high school girls all of the things that I learned in high school, that the importance of camaraderie, and that discipline and that responsibility, and that's all stuff I learned here. So again, I'm so incredibly grateful. Thank you. Congratulations to everyone here today being inducted. And hopefully see you all at Black Mountain. Thank you.
As a proud Mountain Valley lacrosse player myself, I think I came like 270 goals short of Ayla's record. I was here. So, but in all reality, I volunteered to coach the boys team when Ayla was playing on the girls team, and I think we would have done anything to have her swap teams and score a couple goals for us. Next up, from the Rumford High School class of 1971, is Dave Giroux. A talented football player, Dave was captain and a multi-year starter in the Panthers' backfield. But his true legacy was built on the wrestling mat. In 4 years, he wrestled in 4 different weight classes, winning 2 Class A state championships, making the podium 4 times, and capping his career off with one of the most legendary seasons our area has ever seen. As a senior in the unlimited division, which in that time really meant unlimited, he often faced opponents 50 pounds heavier. Dave still went undefeated, allowing only 8 points to be scored against him all season long. And he claimed both the Maine State Championship and the 1971 New England Championship, an honor very few Mainers have ever accomplished to this day. His dominance helped ignite the Rumford wrestling dynasty of the 1970s. He finished his career with a remarkable 47-4-2 record, which helped him earn induction into the Maine Amateur Wrestling Alliance Hall of Fame as well. Unfortunately, Dave cannot be here today, but please join me in honoring him as a Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Famer.
Our next inductee is former coach Jerry Perkins. A Brewer High School graduate and University of Maine football player, Jerry began his coaching career at Stevens High School. Soon after, he took over the wrestling program with no varsity experience himself and transformed it into a powerhouse. Coach Perkins led Rumford and later Mountain Valley Wrestling to 12 regional titles, 5 state championships, and 3 top 4 finishes at the New England Championships. From 1971 to 1981, his team won 5 state titles and were runners-up 5 times. His remarkable dual meet record of 472 wins, 73 losses, and 7 ties include multiple undefeated seasons and winning streaks of 28, 39, 47, and 57. All of this helped earn Rumford the nickname Wrestling Capital of Maine. Beyond titles, Coach Perkins built one of the most impressive coaching legacies in state history, mentoring countless champions and award-winning coaches. He has been inducted into the MAWA Hall of Fame, Brewer High School Hall of Fame, University of Maine Hall of Fame, and the Maine Sports Hall of Fame. Coach, you would be shocked at how often your name still comes up in these hallways at Mountain Valley High School every week of every year. You are a constant name in this community and in this school specifically. Today, we proudly welcome him into the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame.
I just had the left knee replaced, so that was a good test for me. I'm one of those people that did not have a prepared talk here, and I also noticed there's a few of the other folks that I was fortunate enough to coach up there, and they decided they only wanted me up here one time, but I promise I'm going to be short. I will be short because you guys deserve an award for just being here on a beautiful day like this. And I really appreciate it. What I'm going to do is actually, most of these Hall of Fame members here are from Rumford. I was from away. I was here 34 years, but I was always from away. When I graduated from the University of Maine, Walter Abbott, who is a legend over here, said, "Perk, have I got a job for you? Assistant football and biology over in the Rumford area." At that time, I was going to take anything that I could get because my wife and I had very little going for us, just coming out of college and not too much money. The point is, so we're driving over here to Rumford, never been here before. We came across the bridge, and the smoke out of the mill caught the car. We had a baby girl who was now 58. She was 1 year old at the time, and my wife started crying. "I can't believe you brought me here." I said, "Don't worry, hon, just a stepping stone." Little did I know, once I met this community and the kids from this community, that I had a treasure trove here as a coach and as a teacher. I loved it. And we stayed here for 34 years. I'm back on the farm, back on the family farm, back in Eastern Maine. But those 34 years were amazing. And I want to thank, when I first heard from Mr. Pelletier that they were going to do a Hall of Fame here, I was thinking, and I've always thought this, I don't think there's a community in the state of Maine that has more deservable Hall of Famers than this area right here. And Walter Abbott agrees. This is one of the toughest communities, hard-working communities, and good people. good people. Loved working in this community. Loved and so fortunate. One thing, just quickly, Doug Roberts did not mention the football team. He was also a great football player. And actually, Doug, because he was all-state in football, great basketball back there, but I wanted to mention that when he was playing and I was coaching, we did beat Edward Little. Matt Cobras was the quarterback on that team. We beat Edward Little the first time in 22 years. So I just thought I'd throw in a little bit of football during that time. Because Jim Elwood, when we... And you go back, Walter Abbott was on the last state championship that we won over here in football. And because Jim Elwood has brought us back to prominence. Once we got Mexico on our side, there we were. So, again, I want to thank the committee, and what a tremendous amount of work they've done to try to go through this. So many deserving people for this Hall of Fame. So many. And I'm sure Walter, I understand they're going to have a legends coming in. Walter Abbott, we got Bob McPhee, we got some other folks that we're going to be putting in there for sure. But thank you to the committee. Thank you for all the work that the folks on that committee did. And I am so honored. Again, I've heard this from a couple of people. I'd like to put the coaches' names that I worked with, the assistant coaches that I had. I'd like to name them off, but there were too many, and I'm afraid I might miss one. And thank the kids and the parents. Walter said, once you get them on your side, Perk, you're going to be all set. And so I worked hard for that the first few years. Right now, I'm not sure that I would last a week teaching because I was very strict and I was very disciplined, and a lack of discipline or a lack of respect was something that was a red flag for me. So I'm just so pleased and thankful to this committee. Thank you so much.
As a proud UMaine alumni myself, I'd be remiss to not mention Coach Perkins being a member of the 1965 football team that made the Tangerine Bowl. When was the last time you heard UMaine going to a bowl game? You know, the answer is 1965. So, and then he also mentioned Walt Abbott. Walt is a legend. Any of you that know him, I owe my career to Walt Abbott. I would not have graduated from UMaine. It took me long enough to do it as it was, but I would not have graduated there if it wasn't for Walt Abbott and his influence. So those of you that know him, great man, and I'm really lucky that he was in my life as well. Our next inductee is a 2007 graduate, Andy Shorey Jr. Shorey's legacy at Mountain Valley is one of a champion. Coach Jim Elwood said it best in a 2005 Sun Journal interview. One thing about Andy is that he's a winner. He's been a winner at every level in every sport. And the numbers back that quote up. As a three-sport standout, Andy led the Falcons to 7 conference championships, 4 regional titles, and 3 state championships. Between his junior and senior years, his 3 teams went a combined, unbelievable 85-9. On the football field, he was a record-setting quarterback, Camp Out Conference Player of the Year, and an All-State selection. On the basketball court, he scored over 1,200 career points, earned MVC Player of the Year's honor, won the Pierre Arnois Award for Outstanding Player in the Class B West tournament twice, and was a finalist for Mr. Maine basketball. And in baseball, he was a first-team all-conference player who delivered clutch postseason performances, including a multi-hit 3 RBI game in which he also pitched 6 innings of relief. to beat Cape Elizabeth in the quarterfinals his senior year, helping Mountain Valley complete the trifecta of defeating their rivals in football, basketball, and baseball postseasons that year. Andy Shorey Jr. is the definition of a winner. He's a Falcon legend, and now he's a member of the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame.
Wow. Thank you to Jeff and Craig for getting this all together. When we heard it was going to happen, being from Rumford, to me, is the most prideful thing I can have. The Mountain Valley community, whenever I meet somebody, I say it with pride. Like, I'm from this community, and there's so many great people that have been a part of this, and seeing your faces up here. And I've heard all the legends of the Bedards. Matt Cadet was unbelievable. All these names, all the coaches and everything has just been such a joy for me to say that I'm from this town. So seeing you guys here and seeing the speeches and hearing you guys is just amazing to me. So with that said, there's a few people I'd like to thank. First, my parents. They pushed me to do things that I never thought I could do. We went all over the country. We played basketball. Every day I was outside playing pass with my dad. With my mom, she's a competitor, and she really made me a competitor. I hated to lose. Losing is the worst. Like, I think Jeff listed off a record, but all I can think about are those 9 losses. Like, where the hell did they come from? My coaches, Coach Elwood, the lessons that you taught us. This guy doesn't understand what he meant to us. I know I speak for every person he's ever coached, because I was a freshman and I thought I was good. And I walked on the field and Coach Elwood said, "Hey, Andy," and that was it. And then he said, "Hey," to everyone else and everyone behind me. And, John Holton, Jamie Downs, these kids that never really saw the field, but he made them feel so included. So when, you see that, and he made them feel more valuable than anything, and then you get to be my age, and I learned to, see people at work, and, you're going to make everybody feel included, and it wasn't just the coaching, it's the human being that he was. And then I had other great coaches, Coach LaPointe, Coach Casey, Coach Garish, who pushed me to levels that I never thought I could be at. And then I played with some great players. Not many people can say that they had role models that were just a couple years older than them. I got both Fagola boys here, and they taught me so much. They're great. How can I go to practice and complain when I have Trav Fagola in front of me, who's face is beat red, bloody, just smiling, ready to go for the next rep, and how can I complain? That's my role models. And then I had older role models, the Bedard brothers. They're like brothers to me. We go do things. We talk all the time, Joe, Andy, and then Matt Cadet. I remember, I'll do a quick story. I was on the 18-yard line, rolled right on a play, got hit, threw a touchdown, and thought I was great. I thought I was good. And I got home, and I was like, "Dad, you see that?" And Dad said, "Yeah, I saw that, but Matt Cadet did it. He did it on the other 18, and he went 82 yards for a touchdown." So if I couldn't impress my dad, who could I impress? These guys in front of me were just amazing. Justin Stairs, you guys heard his stats. Those are in half a game, Justin. You didn't play the second half of the game because you were up by 50 at halftime. This kid was unbelievable. You see double coverage, and I just chuck it up, throw it 20 yards, and he goes 80 yards for a touchdown, and then your name's in the paper, 80-yard touchdown. It's pretty cool. Justin was amazing. He was amazing. There's so many guys like that on that were just unbelievable to play with. Guys that were, like in my class, I had linemen that were unbelievable. 2 all-state linemen in front of me. So, like, I had all day to throw to. Kyle Dow, Thaddeus Bennett, those guys were, Matt Glover, those guys were tough as nails. Holy crap, how could I complain about anything with these guys by my side? And then last, my wife, I think I'm the only one who can say this. I've been with my wife since I was a sophomore in high school. So, you know, this is for us, you know, like this is, you gotta find we just bought a new house in Naples. You gotta find a spot for this. This is for us. Put this on the wall. No, she pushed me, you know, whenever I thought I was good, she humbled me. Or whenever I thought someone else was good, she'd let me know, hey, this kid thinks he's good, you know, challenge yourself. But we've been together for everything, and without her, this isn't possible either, and thank you. And the last thing I just want to say, I have 2 nephews here. They go to Derigo, unfortunately. I hate that word. It makes me vomit. But I love them to death. I love these kids. They're the best. So you might see me sitting on the wrong side, but just know I bleed blue and silver through and through. Thank you.
That was awesome. A couple more here. Andy, probably 6 or 7 years after he graduated high school, as kids do, we ran around and played in some men's leagues or whatever. And like, Andy, we got a tournament coming up. Can you come play with us or whatever? We need some help. And he's like, oh, I haven't touched the ball in years. There's no way, whatever. I said, we'll work you in. Andy Shore will work you in. So first couple games, he went for exact numbers, 45 and 55, and the rest of us are just standing around like that he's on a different level. Unbelievable athlete. Great speech for sure. My last one that I get to read this afternoon. Next, we get to honor 1976 graduate Doug Roberts. Whose career on the hardwood was nothing short of legendary, and who helped turn Rumford basketball into a Class A juggernaut. In 1973, Roberts, as a freshman, was not allowed to play on the varsity team due to the rules of that era. As a sophomore, though, he earned a starting spot on an 18-0 team that went on to defeat Lawrence to win the Class A state crown. As a junior, Roberts was named first-team All-State by the Bangor Daily News. In his senior season in 1976, Doug and the Panthers had another perfect season, claimed the Class A state title, and then made history by winning the New England Championship, with Doug being named the most outstanding player for both the state tournament and the New England tournament as well. By the time he hung up his high school jersey, he had over 1,480 points, 1,000 rebounds, and a jaw-dropping 50 wins and 4 losses. He didn't stop there, though. Doug started at Acadia University, winning a national championship as a freshman. He dominated at Becker College, earning a spot in their Hall of Fame after playing just 1 season for them. He capped off his career at Clark University with over 1,000 points in all New England honors. Known for his unmatched ability to control the paint, rebound, and score from anywhere, Doug's name is already etched into multiple halls of fame, and although his legacy as a player and coach spread far beyond our community, the impact he had in Rumford made him a clear choice for our inaugural class, knowing that it started right here. Please join me in welcoming Doug Roberts to the stage as an MVHS Hall of Famer.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Jeff, for and the committee for this fine honor. I'd also like to thank my wife, Pam, my 2 daughters, Jennifer and Mary, my son-in-law, Dave, and my 2 grandkids that are running around back there, all right, for coming. I wasn't going to do it. My daughter Jennifer introduced me to AI, and I have a speech, because Joe Bedard, if you can talk that long, I can, and I've got all kinds of time because I've been timing. I've got like 25 minutes. No, but growing up in Rumford was very special. Had great coaches. Coach Perkins, Coach Shaw was instrumental in everything we did. Coach Perkins should have a plaque on the gym floor where he tore his Achilles when we were on gym duty, when I was back teaching here during lunch. And his only line was, "Where was the kid that threw the ball at me?" Coach said, "It wasn't. You tore your Achilles." So he got time off from work playing basketball at lunch. But I was fortunate in timing, too. They mentioned the 74 team. I started as a sophomore with Stan Cobras, Jimmy Mooney, Ray McKenna, and Joe Zyko. And they just sort of showed me around. Here, go here and stand there. All right, I'll stand there. I got baskets because I was standing in the right spot. But it started that process of being very good and having high expectations. That next year, started 2 juniors and 3 sophomores, and we sort of kicked away that tournament. We should have won that one, too. But the next year, we just played with such unselfish players and get people driven. Our guards, we didn't have a three-point line, but Matt and Jack and Chris Gorin they would give up the ball at all points. Andy Sherwood Sr. would be on the lucky end of catching those passes. So when you have good things happening and you're just lucky enough to be part of it, and you're fortunate to be here in that first class, I want to thank the committee and thank you, and it's a great class. Thank you.
All right. Our final inductee today was the perfect person to set the standard for our contributor category, Roger Arsenal. Roger's ski career began in the 1950s, carving turns at Scotty's Mountain, and he honed his skills under legendary coaches like Herb Adams and Mac Miller. He became a standout at Stevens High School and earned a spot on the New England Championship ski team. His impact on the ski world only grew from there, though. For decades, he has been the steady force behind the scenes at Black Mountain of Maine and the Chisholm Ski Club. He's done it all. Chief of race, competition organizer, gatekeeper. He's even worked on timing crews for World Cup competitions. From youth meets to international championships, Black Mountain never fails to host seamless ski events, and Roger plays a huge role in most of them. His impact on our community goes far beyond the slopes. He's a respected businessman and chairman of the Black Mountain Board. Mountain Valley High School has a long history of pumping out exceptional skiers, and much of this success is because Black Mountain is right in our backyard. When the mountain nearly closed due to funding in 2013, Arsenal played a large role in not only ensuring that it survived, but that it has thrived. We are proud to still be able to call Black Mountain our host mountain, and we are extremely grateful for Roger and his crew for all of their support of our ski teams. What makes Roger truly special is not just his resume, it's his spirit. He gives his time not for recognition, but out of a genuine desire to give back to the sport and community that shaped him. Whether grooming trails, organizing events, or inspiring young skiers, Roger always leads by example. He was a 2021 inductee into the Maine Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame and was a 2023 recipient of the New England Nordic Ski Association's John Caldwell Award. Now we proudly welcome Roger Arsenal into the Mountain Valley Athletics Hall of Fame as our first ever contributor.
Well, this is quite an honor, and I'm very humbled to receive this award because I'm just one of many that create the venue at Black Mountain. I really would like to thank my family, Chisinski Club volunteers, Black Mountain volunteers that helped make Black Mountain the best race venue in New England. So thank you very much.
All right, so that concludes our ceremony. I would like to just make sure that I send some thank yous out, mostly to all of you for being part of this process. Thank you to the ladies that work the table. Those of you that come to the golf scramble tomorrow, we'll see them again. Events like this don't happen without good help, and we have the best help. And then I really want to thank all of the inductees for being here. When we decided to take the steps towards creating a Hall of Fame here, we weren't exactly sure how it would be received or how things would go, and we've just kind of been making it up as we go. But we knew that it was a need. It was something that we had to do. But we had 19 individual recipients today, and a large majority of them showed up, and that is incredible. It probably has something to do with me not telling them they had to speak, as you've heard from some people, but luckily I didn't because we got some great speeches today. But just that type of dedication to our community is what makes them all Hall of Famers and what makes our community and our athletic history here so great. I am so proud to play a small role in this whole thing, and I am so proud to just be a Mountain Valley Falcon. I joke sometimes that that Mountain Valley's become part of my name. You know, I leave a phone call. It's Jeff Pelletier of Mountain Valley High School, and that makes me more proud than anything. I bleed blue and silver, and the legends that we get to talk about today, I mean, those are people I've looked up to my whole life, even the ones that are younger than me and that I coached. And, I mean, Lauren was as much of a role model to me as anyone was to her, I'm sure. So I'm proud to be part of this, and I want to thank you all. Craig will talk a little bit, but I do want to invite everybody when we leave here to go up to Black Mountain. Sherry just let me know they're ready for us whenever we show up, and there's nothing planned up there. We just want to get together and have a chance to share stories and reconnect and continue this celebration. And I thought, especially in this first year, that would be an important part of what we do here. So thank you all once again. Craig will talk, but we do want to get all the inductees that are here. We would like to get a photo with them all in the cafeteria. Mr. Bernard will try and orchestrate that after we're done, before we head to Black Mountain. Thank you all once again for being here.
That has an athletic director or someone willing to give up that level of time to make this happen. The stats that we all read, those numbers, that was weeks and weeks and weeks of him digging through Sun Journal archives, getting those numbers, writing these speeches, shortening those speeches for today so that instead of being 4 hours, we were a little under 2. The track and field stuff that's in the gymnasium, the Hall of Fame screen here, the computer system that he's put up, I think you would be hard-pressed to find that anywhere else in the entire state. There is no doubt, and anyone would tell you this, other athletic directors around the state, that he's one of the best at what he does. But in addition to that, he put in a ridiculous amount of time to make this a reality. So we all played a small part. 99% of that goes to Jeff. It was an honor to be here that he asked me to read some of these because you guys are our heroes, and the fact that I get to be a small part of this and read these things is just incredible. Again, don't forget, please be at Black Mountain. Don't forget the picture in the cafeteria afterwards. But if you see Jeff around at any point, just know this was him and pretty much nobody else. Thank you, guys.